What up, y'all? It's Mel. I'm back with another cooking video. In today's video, I'm doing homemade sloppy joes. Now, I started off with my ground meat. I seasoned it beforehand, and as it's cooking in the pan, I'm going to tell you what I seasoned it with. How y'all doing? I forgot to ask y'all. I'm good. Okay. Now what this is it's 2 pounds of ground meat. I can't say beef. Use whatever protein you like. You can even make this vegetarian if you choose. But instead of using meat, I would suggest you use maybe beans and mushrooms. But that'll be your vegetarian sloppy joe. But in this meat, which is 2 pounds of ground beef and ground pork, is a combination. I seasoned it with 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of cumin, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, and a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Now, you're going to let this brown in the skillet. Break it up kind of, get the chunks out. And you're going to brown this ground beef till it's cooked. Y'all want to watch it cook? Or should I just come back? You know, some people need time. They need to know how long it takes to cook that. You know what? I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like when it's cooked, instead of keeping this video long. Unless y'all want to talk. Y'all want to talk? What y'all weather like? For the past 2 days, our weather has been beautiful. But come Wednesday, we're supposed to have a wintry storm. And I'm kind of nervous about that because they're supposed to be leaving to attend a funeral. And they're going to be driving. And the roads are supposed to be slick. You're supposed to have icy roads and snow. And the only driver that's leaving Wednesday early enough to get ahead of it, Keisha not riding with him. I wish she would have listened to me and brought them tickets when I wanted to buy them and flew. But she's stubborn. You gotta stir it up, because as you see, I still have raw pieces, and that's because I ain't moving around in the pot. So but yesterday we were out for the whole day, and the weather was beautiful. It was still kind of chilly, but it wasn't chilly like we had been getting, or we about to get. Now, at this point, some people will be like, let's add the rest in. Can't do that. I have to drain this. So it took about maybe 4 to 5 minutes for this ground meat to be cooked. As you see, it's done, it's cooked. Now, I'll be right back because I'm about to drain it now. And we'll start on the sauce. The fifth. Okay, y'all, I'm back. And now I'm going to put my vegetables in the pot. I'm going to tell you what it is in a minute. Give me a minute. Now, what this is, or excuse my language right there, y'all. What this is a couple green bell peppers and a cup of yellow onions with a tablespoon of chopped garlic and a bay leaf. Excuse me. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on here just to help it start releasing more of its juices and to speed up my cooking process just a little bit. Just a little salt. Just sprinkle it on top lightly. Excuse me. I'm talking to myself in my head, y'all. And that's because, I don't know. Maybe I don't want y'all to know. But I'm trying to decide, do I want to cook them all the way down, or do we want a little bite left to our vegetables at the end? If you want a little bite left at the end, this is right about where you would add in your tomato paste. You know what? I think I'm going to add the ground beef back before I put the tomato. No, I'm going to cook my tomato paste first. I have a 28-ounce can of tomato puree right there. And I put that down in there. And I stir it up. As you see, it started popping. And yeah, gotta cook that down some. I should have took my vegetables out and cooked it down. Because I don't know how old this can is. But you can smell the can to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I said it. I know it's good. I'm just saying. It just smells like canned tomatoes. You think I would buy a can of tomatoes that was not good at the store? I just bought it yesterday. Yeah, that's what it was for, and to this, go ahead. I had to put that top on. It started popping like that. So I'm going to lower my heat some. But hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, it's not done. I haven't been gone that long. I just came back. I was waiting for the pot to die down, but when you take that top off, it starts bubbling again. But I'm going in and I'm adding a little extra help. A half a teaspoon of garlic powder. A half a teaspoon of onion powder. A half a teaspoon of chili powder. And I'm going to put some Worcestershire sauce in there. Half a teaspoon. Whole teaspoon. A whole teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce in the sauce. Now, I'm going to stir it up. Now to this, excuse me for the pounding. Now I'm going to add some ketchup. Let's see. I'm adding about a fourth a cup of ketchup. And I'm gonna stir that. You doing all that adding and stuff and you ain't even tasted. I know, but I'm not ready to yet. Because I still have a little more stuff to add in it. Now I'm going to add in some mustard. Uh, to your taste. But I'm going to add in about 2 tablespoons of mustard. And once I taste it, if it ain't there, I may add a little more. There we go. I have another ingredient. But I don't want to add it just yet because if you don't like now let's taste this. It needs salt. About a half a teaspoon. Maybe more. But it's not over a teaspoon. I'm not a salt person, excuse me. Now that I done dipped my spoon, I'm going to just dop it now. Oh wow, I didn't want no onions in there. I need more chili powder. That's about a half a teaspoon. We're just going to put a little water in there. About a half a cup. Say y'all, don't use 2 teaspoons of mustard unless you like mustard. Only use a teaspoon because it tastes real mustardy. Well, at least I don't have to put mustard on my sloppy joe now. And we're coming up on 20 minutes. I wonder, my last ingredient that I'm adding y'all is brown sugar. What you doing? But I'm not sure if I want to add it now or when I add my meats. what you hear me do is I'm crushing up the brown sugar because I measured it out and it's a packed tablespoon. But you know, and see, normally when I do this, I add this in when I do my onions so that I could cook it, so that it can be already cooked when I add my tomatoes and it don't stick. I hope you can hear what I'm saying, but sorry if you can't. Okay, there go my tablespoon of brown sugar. And I'm stirring this up. And I'm probably gonna let it cook for a few more before I add my meat to it. And once I add my meat to it though, I'm gonna turn it down because what I really want is a simmer. I don't even really want it to boil like that because the higher the heat, the more chance of your brown sugar burning. Okay. I'll be back. Okay, y'all, I'm back. While my sauce has been simmering, I taste it. It's not quite how I want it. So, in this bowl, I have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon and a half of Worcestershire sauce, a fourth a teaspoon of cumin, and another teaspoon of chili powder. And I'm going to add it to my pot. That's what it looks now. I've been like tossing the bowl, stirring it up. And I'm going to add this. Did I put salt in there? Did I put salt in there? And I put a teaspoon of salt. Now I put my little slurry in the pot. Now I'm going to go ahead and stir it up. And now after this point, when I taste it, if it's to my liking, after adding those, I'm going to just go ahead on and throw my meat in there. Let's taste. Yeah. That's better. Yeah, that's it. Now I'm going to add, hold on a second. Now I'm going to add my ground beef in. And we're going to stir that up. I know it look dry, but once it all heat up and meld in together, it won't look like that. Now, I stirred it all in there. Excuse my phone. is ignorant. I get so many notifications. Okay. All right. Now, now that it's all together and whatnot, if you like yours looser, add more water. But now, I'm going to put the top on and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, y'all. That's the time. And for my finishing touch, I'm just going to add some more ketchup. Y'all see what I did. It wasn't nothing special. I just went around, put a little bit in there. And I'm going to stir it. If you want yours looser or extremely saucy, I would just say at this point, if at this point you want it looser, add a half a cup of water and just let it cook for about maybe 10 more minutes. Right? Right. Okay, it's done. Thanks for watching. Oh, how about this? Before I leave, let me go ahead on and reiterate them ingredients, because I'm not a typer. I don't like typing all that stuff in the description box and all that good stuff. Now, at the very beginning, you season your ground meat and your 2 pounds of ground beef. You use 2 tablespoons. No, I'm starting out wrong. It is 2 pounds of ground beef. But you use 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, half a teaspoon of cumin, and a teaspoon and a half of Worcestershire sauce. That's just to season your meat. You season your meat, you mix it all together, and you let it sit for a half hour to an hour. Okay. While that's sitting, you cut up your bell peppers and your onions and your garlic. And I use 1 cup of green bell peppers, 1 cup of yellow onion, and 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh garlic. Okay, that's all together. You come back, you brown your meat. You drain it, you set it to the side. Then, this is where you cook your cup of bell peppers and your cup of onions and your teaspoon of garlic. Also add a bay leaf in it. You cook that down. Once you've cooked that down to your desired consistency, you add a 28 ounce can of tomato puree. Once you've added that to the pot, you add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of salt, a half a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of chili powder, and you go ahead on, you let that cook up. As that cooks up, toward the end, I added 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I also added about a fourth a cup of ketchup and I say a tablespoon of mustard. And you mix that all up and you let that cook down. Once your sauce smelling and tasting good, if it does not taste how you want it, go ahead on and find the herb or seasoning that you think you need. You might want oregano in this. That might be your taste. But after you do all that and your sauce tasting how you want it, go ahead on and put your meat in it. Stir it all up. Once you done stir that all up and it's like you want it, go ahead on and cover it and let it cook for 15 more minutes so that your tomato sauce and your meat can marry. And after you do that, if it's not the consistency you want, you can add some water to it. I myself like mine thick. I don't like my sauce loose and running on my plate. And if you're done with that, there it is. You just go ahead on, toast up some buns, and put your meat on it. So, should I show you the finished Sloppy Joe product on a Sloppy Joe? Or is this good enough for you? Oh hell, I'll be back. Okay, y'all. That's a plated Sloppy Joe. We are eating ours on the little buns though. So we could get that kind of New Orleans po' boy feel on the back end slick. This is Terrell's. He wanted his plain. He said add mustard to it. I didn't put the mustard. Where's the mustard? This is his. What are you worried about what is on his for? And I'm going to try not to mustard it up too much. There we go. And that's Terrell's Sloppy Joe with a little mustard and cheese on it. Thank y'all for watching. If you try this recipe, let me know how it was to you. And until next time, peace, love, and hair grease. Have fun with your family. Love on each other responsibly. And have fun responsibly. Till next time, peace, love, and hair grease, y'all. And I'm out.